Looks good.
All right.
All right, I'm rolling. Bob, first question.
Okay, here we are in the San Francisco Bay, overlooking the beautiful, the eighth wonder of the world, and I'm talking to the infamous Chaz Ferrari, known as AKA Chaz Lap.
AKA.
So Chaz, first of all, where were you born?
Actually, I was born in Oakland, California.
Oakland, California.
Yeah. A
And-
long time ago.
And obviously you grew up there.
Yeah, I grew up in Lafayette mostly.
And were you an athletic child?
Well, I was athletic. I wasn't in participatory sports. I wasn't much of a competitor, but I certainly competed with my brothers.
In what sports?
Oh, all kinds of sports. A lot of water sports, water skiing, surfing, swimming. Once I had one of my brothers blow out my eardrum when we were doing butterfly side by side at Lake Shasta. That was hilarious. First thing when we got there, I spent the rest of the day sitting on the beach with a very sore ear.
Googling. Did your athletic abilities come naturally?
Yes, I would have to say that's probably true.
So you're a natural athlete.
Yeah, I'd say. Don't ask me to run. I'm good in the water.
Did you have to work at these abilities?
No, a lot of it was pretty natural. Yeah, it just came to me. Yeah.
And what year did you get involved in open water swimming?
2007, Bob. Good story. You yourself handed me the application for the South End Rowing Club.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yep.
Wow. A lot of water.
March 2007, the water temperature was 47 degrees.
Oh, wow.
I spent a half hour in it the first time I got in without a wetsuit, and I thought I died and went to heaven. I like the cold water.
Do you have any fears while swimming in the bay?
Yes, I wouldn't hesitate to tell anyone that. You're going to swim out here, you should definitely check in with yourself and do whatever you think is best. You know, if you think you shouldn't go there, don't go there. Yes, I've had fears in the water.
And what are those fears, Chaz?
Well, that's the worst one actually I ever had. The first time I panicked, and the only time I panicked, and the last time I'm ever going to panic, I think, was right there at the end of that pier at Fort Mason. And I swam out there, and the water temperature was super cold. It was like 48. And I got to the end of the pier, and there was a whisper, just the tiniest hint of an ebb. And that I realized, you know, it just worked on my head immediately. It took about 10 seconds to go from being able to swim to actually not being able to swim at all. Not using my arms and legs. That was a full-on panic attack. And what I learned from that is plan B, always have a plan B.
And plan C.
And C. I actually
D
do.
And E.
Well, I at least have a plan B and C.
What was that?
Oh, you know, over here you can go with the ebb and swim down to Gas House and get out of the water there. If you're at the Creekers, going the other way in a flood, well, that gets tougher. You know, plan B is a little tougher there, but if you have to, I guess you can swim over to Pier 39. But
What do you think
don't
about
recommend
when you're
it.
swimming, Chaz?
That's a good question, Bob. I think mostly about. I listen to the water, believe it or not, even with earplugs in. But I listen to the water moving by my head. You know, it's a different feeling. It's definitely a kind of otherworldly. I feel the water. I feel the coldness. I really enjoy all those sensations. I watch the sunrise. You know, there's so much aesthetically going on out here with the light all the time. Even right now, it's gorgeous out here. You know, I don't think so much as I'm just pulling in sensations. It's great. I love that.
What do you wear when you're swimming, Chaz?
Okay, well, I got the I wear a swimming suit, and I wear earplugs. I love the earplugs. They make me feel warmer. It's kind of psychological, but also they protect you from ear infections. So I use a neoprene cap, and over that neoprene cap, a color cap for visibility, and goggles, and that's all I wear. Oh, I also wear short lap swimming fins. Yeah, they give me a false sense of security. I love that.
So what has changed in your life since you started swimming?
Oh, that's a good question, Bob. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever, in fact, I can tell you, I have never been as strong a swimmer as I am right now. That's definitely the truth. And progressively, in the 10 years I've been doing this, I become stronger and stronger swimmer. Stronger and faster, and probably my form's better even though I haven't taken any lessons for the form, but I've just observed and copied.
Why did you choose swimming over other sports?
Well, that's easy to answer. Swimming's low impact compared to, I mean, I can't run. Forget it, you know.
Less expensive, cheaper?
It's cheaper, yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's that too. But yeah, and the member of the South End Rowing Club, that could be one of the absolute best buys on the planet. In fact, it probably is. That and the Dolphin Club, in terms of clubs, you know, exercise clubs.
Have you had any injuries while you're swimming in the bay?
Never. In 10 years. I have not had an injury. The shoulders are great. They keep getting stronger all the time. I've never gone down the path of a bad pull, you know, to do anything to compromise the shoulders. I've even got a bad shoulder, right shoulder, from a couple of swan dives in snow skiing, where I really hurt myself pretty badly. And you know, that even my right shoulder is still good to go. I've never hurt myself out here. Well, aside from the occasional lacerations from a piling underneath the pier, but hey, I shouldn't be going there.
Explain your favorite part of open water swimming and your least favorite part of open water swimming.
Least favorite part. Oh, that would be
getting into the water.
Yeah, that's probably it for most everybody.
And second, getting into the sauna, I imagine.
The most favorite part of open water swimming is probably sitting at the creekers, watching, just hitting the timing perfectly for a beautiful sunrise in the morning. That could be, or sitting right out here, where you can actually see over the pier and see the colors from the sunrise. Yeah, that's good. And then when the sun's really, when it gets lit up, the clouds get lit up and you get a pink, orangish glow, you can see that reflected in the windows over there in Sausalito. It's just breathtaking. And then your eyes are this far off the water, you know, maybe even less than that far off the water. And the water has a way of gathering that light and bringing it right to your eyes. It's phenomenal. You can't even explain it. How about swimming, you know, out and having the moon over here, up there, right? And it's still kind of dark, just twilight, let's say. And then over here on the other side, you got the sunrise starting up, you know. And I bilateral breathe, so sometimes I breathe on this side and I can see the moon, and sometimes I breathe on that side and I can see the beginning of the sunrise. This is beyond. I mean, that's you have no idea how beautiful that is unless you do it sometime and check it out. It's amazing.
What is your favorite open water swim?
Hey,
Everything.
but I'm not prejudiced, okay? But bar none, my favorite open water swim is the Chaz Lap.
Could you explain that to us?
Sure, the Chaz Lap. Well, lapping in a pool, right? That's where the name kind of came from. And you just have to define the pool, and then you understand the concept of the Chaz Lap. Well, the pool is defined by the opening of Gashouse Cove, which is behind me over that way, and the end of the breakwall over here, which is we call the Creekers. So that's the pool. That's the length of the pool. Plus, getting out to the pool, you have to swim from the beach out to the opening. And then you do the swim where you get to both ends of the pool and come back to the middle and then go back to the beach. And what you've done is kind of a lap from the middle of the pool, if you will, but you made the complete circle. That's my favorite swim, and that's what a Chaz lap is.
What are the most important elements in open water swimming?
Well, I'd love to say safety, but I would really, since I do a lot of this on my own, that the premier rule of swimming is don't swim by yourself. Oh well. But aside from that, a little faux pas on my part, to tell you the truth, things like stay close to the shore or an object that a boat wouldn't be around. Wear a light if you're out in the dark, in the early morning before the light hits. It's a good idea to wear a light for visibility. What else? Always have a plan B. Be aware that you can get into a panic. I don't care how good a swimmer you are. I've seen the best swimmers panic. Things like that. Plan B it out here. It's good. And I guess if I had to say to a newcomer out here, I would definitely recommend that you start slowly and work your way up.
And then taper.
Well, and then taper, as they say. Yeah, of course.
Along those same lines, how do you enter the water? Very carefully.
Well, I used to get right in. I notice I've slowed down on that a little bit lately. I get in up to my waist and then sort of sit there for about 2 or 3 minutes. And then finally, I do this though. I will exhale. I have this habit of exhaling when I hit the water. So I'll get a big breath in, and then as I exhale, I'll actually dive forward into the water. And it just seems to take some of the shock off of that for me. Everybody has their own way of doing that entry thing.
What do you do after you get out of the water, Chaz?
Well, I sit and talk to somebody on the beach for about a half hour. Head for the sauna. God bless the saunas and the showers. And on Fridays, folks, we do have this in the men's sauna in the South End. We have this little habit called the
growler.
Well, no, it's called beer actually, but it's Beer Friday in the men's sauna, and that's with this particular group of guys. Get out of the water about 7:30. If you're, interested, come on down. We'll show you a good time.
What water do you prefer to swim in, fresh or salt water, or brackish?
Yeah, that's a really good question. After you've been out here in the brackish water for a while, what you realize is, and then, you go hit a lake, let's say, what it really comes across very quickly is how much help you get from buoyancy when you're swimming. It's actually much easier to swim in salt and brackish water than it is to swim in a fresh lake. That said, I wouldn't turn down a swim in Tahoe or Donner Lake for that matter. But it's a more of a trudge. Your body's lower in the water, not so elevated, not so buoyant.
Do you have any open water swimming tips?
Tips? Yes, always swim with a pilot. Which I never do. Open water swimming tips. Learn how to sight. Learn how to bilateral breathe. That's very helpful. Do sight on a regular basis, every 10 to 20 strokes. Make sure you know where the hell you're going. Watch out for obstructions in the water, which is very apropos right now since we have an immense amount of debris in the bay with all the rain we've had and the high water, and so there's a lot of debris. So keep your head up for that. Watch for boats. And if you're not with the pilot, and even if you are with the pilot, still be responsible for yourself. It's your body, it's not the pilot's body. So watch for boats. Occasionally look around, see where you're going. If you're swimming with a group, stay with the group. Especially if you have pilots. Yeah, because what happens is if you get away from the group, then you pull pilots off the group, and that weakens in essence it weakens the security for the entire swim. So those are good tips. And if it's cold water and your head starts to go woo, you might think about getting out. if your hand starts to do this, you might think about getting out.
What's the best way to fuel or to eat during open water swimming?
Yeah, the best way probably for those who can tolerate goo is to use goo or something like that. You can carry it in your suit, pouches of it, and then you just, open the pouch and eat the goo. Great. I cannot tolerate glue. It makes me want to hurl. So my best shot at feeding is to have somebody with me who has the feed, or leave the feed on land and keep coming back to the feed. But it's basically it's a mixed drink, protein, fruit, sugars, carbohydrates, that kind of thing. It works well for me. Maybe with a little chocolate powder in there, to kind of make the whole thing a lot better. Yeah.
And how often do you fuel during swims?
Every half hour after the first hour, I'd say, works for me. Depends. Yeah, I've never done a swim in excess of 4 hours. So I don't know how this works after you get into 6 to 10 hours, but I would say every half hour would work for me, especially with a good rich mix, the liquid food mix. Yeah, and maybe an occasional candy bar.
Okay, what's some of your future thoughts about swimming?
Future thoughts about swimming. Well, I would say support bay keepers, and especially with this new administration coming in. This is a great resource, not only for swimming. Swimming is a small part of what this bay is used for, and it needs to be protected. So I would say, my own personal interest is to help protect the bay. I'm a little selfish about that because I swim in it, But I would say that in terms of swimming, let's make sure that we still have bodies of water that can be swam in for the people who come after us, our children and their children, that type of thing.
Very good, Chaz.
All right, Bob, thanks. And thank you, Brian.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
That's good. Thank
Cheers.
you very much.
All right, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Appreciate it.